We want to enter a city together where nothing is where you expect it to be. You are driving. Suddenly you realize you've mistakenly entered a parking lot that goes down 500 meters, but there's no way back once you're at the bottom. Or imagine you got off the metro. You've been going up the escalator for 15 minutes, but you still haven't reached the surface. Or even worse, imagine you wake up in the morning and step out of your house. Then you see a train passing through the middle of your building, right next to your kitchen. But it's not over. Imagine you want to fill up on gas. You have to go to the rooftop of a 10-story building, because in this city, gas stations are on the roofs. Then you see a bus moving through the sky on a high bridge. No, these aren't scenes from a science fiction movie. This is Chongqing, one of the strangest cities in the world. A city where it seems like the laws of physics are different. And here, not only is walking around the city confusing, but if you take just one wrong turn, it's over, and you might enter another world. So let's go back to this city, Chongqing. This is a parallel world? When you enter this city, even Google Maps gets confused. For example, you see an address on the map that's only 500 meters away from you, but to reach it, you might have to walk for 30 minutes, because it could be 500 meters above you or even 500 meters underground. This city is built on large hills, and its sloping terrain has caused the buildings, streets, and even metro stations to be at different elevations. This makes it so that when you're walking in the middle of a street, you feel like you're on the ground floor. But if you look from another side, for example, if you go towards the edge of a wall, you see that you're on the 18th floor. Almost the entire city is like this. They even put up a warning sign to be careful not to drop your phone. Just imagine standing down there and someone drops their phone from this height and it hits you right on the head. Of course, I hope that doesn't happen. Chongqing is known as a five-dimensional city. For example, you're walking in a beautiful historical square. Cool temples are around you. Everything seems flat and smooth, just like the ground floor. But the reality is that you're standing on the 22nd floor of a building. I guess you've never seen anything like this anywhere else in the world. It really blows your mind. How did they build such a city? The only city that can be somewhat comparable to Chongqing is Hong Kong. But still, Chongqing is something else. But this is just the beginning. Let's go and check out some of the strangest things we see in this city. You might have seen in science fiction movies a train passing through a building. But in Chongqing, this is a reality. At Liziba Station, the metro passes through a 19-story building, and you wouldn't believe that this building is residential too. Chinese engineers designed it in such a way to create minimal noise and vibration. But well, you're still a neighbor to a metro station. Joking aside, the residents of this building have completely adapted to it. Now imagine you're riding this train and you get off at this particular station. So how do you get out? The main challenge is that there's no elevator from the floor where the metro is to the ground floor. Of course, I exaggerated that. I wanted to make my point more impactful. There is an elevator for people with disabilities and the elderly, but regular people have to go down by escalator, which is a bit tiring. You have to go down, then turn around, and then take another escalator. This process takes about 4 to 5 minutes until you finally see the exit. Of course, remember that on the floor where the metro station is located, there are many small shops and street food stalls that you can enjoy. Alright, let's move on to the gas station. In a typical city, when you run out of gas, you find a gas station and fill up on the street. But in Chongqing, it's not like that. Here, due to the lack of space and also because of the unique geology and multi-level streets, they had to build gas stations in unusual places. For example, some of them are built on multi-story parking lots or even on the rooftops of buildings, which looks very strange from the outside. So how do you get into these gas stations? With special car elevators that take you up to refuel. In this city, due to complex elevations, a building has an entrance on the first floor, but on the other side, it's seen as the 7th floor. Sometimes gas stations are built on the roofs of multi-story buildings. But we are going to the streets that were once war shelters. During World War II, Chongqing was one of the most important centers of Chinese resistance, and thousands of underground shelters were built there to prevent air attacks. But now these shelters have been transformed into streets, shops, shopping centers, and even restaurants. This means that in this city, wherever you walk, you might actually be inside a World War II shelter. Of course, I exaggerated a little bit. It's not like this everywhere in the city. Most of these shelters are concentrated in specific areas. For example, the old center of Chongqing, not the entire city. Well, let's go back to the subway again. One of the deepest subway stations in the world is located in Chongqing. The Hongtudi station is 118 meters underground, which is equivalent to a 39-story building. Imagine having to be on the escalator for 7 to 8 minutes just to reach the train. This way, you either become an athlete or give up on riding the subway altogether. But if you truly want to drive in Chongqing, it's an extremely terrifying adventure, because one wrong turn might lead you to a parking lot with no exit at the end. Of course, I exaggerated a bit. It might be a little confusing, or you might have to go up and down a lot. But it's not like there's no way out. However, driving in this city is only for the brave. Because even if you trust the GPS, it might take you onto a bridge that ends in a dead-end street. This really happens. That's not an exaggeration anymore, because the many elevation differences and bridges in Chongqing have caused GPS systems to not work very accurately or be unable to determine which street layer you are on. Perhaps worse, you might end up in a multi-story parking garage where the only way out is a car elevator that takes you to the 20th floor, and after that, only God knows what happens. Let me also mention that in this city, many of the signs are bilingual, but if you move a little away from the city, you won't see anything in English anymore. Everything is in Chinese. Usually, the highways pass over the streets and open spaces, but it's as if a city is built on top of another city. These routes help reduce traffic on the ground level. But when you look down from a bus, you feel like you're floating in a spaceship in the air. Of course, the routes are sturdy, and the structures are completely engineered. This beautiful city is located next to the Yangtze and Zhejiang rivers. People here love eating on the water. Some of the restaurants in this vibrant city are built on multi-story boats that float on the river like a large ship. Of course, I might have exaggerated a bit. There are restaurant cruises on the Yangtze River where you can board and have a meal. These are real ships that mostly offer a food tour and river cruise experience. But it's interesting to tell you that Chongqing might be one of the cheapest major cities in the world. For example, if you think about big cities like Hong Kong, Taipei, Seoul, Tokyo, Bangkok, or Jakarta, the rent prices there are astronomical. But here, in the city center, the rent for a one-bedroom unit is very reasonable. From what I've researched, in the city center, it can be around $300 a month. It's unbelievable. But in this city where approximately 34 million people live, you can find such cheap rent. Chongqing is truly a mind-blowing city. Even New York and Tokyo pale in comparison to Chongqing. Now the question is, if you come to Chongqing one day, do you even dare to drive? Or can you even find your hotel without getting stuck in a 500-meter parking lot? Comment and let me know if you would even like to live in this city or not. Chongqing is a city that doesn't fit with the usual rules of the world. This is not just a city, it's a different world. Chongqing is a city built on mountains and beside rivers. a place where you can experience both ancient history and civilization, as well as modern life. A place where you see a strange combination of speed and tranquility, of urban life and nature. A city with a rich history, vibrant culture, and breathtaking scenery. A city full of wonder, delight, and inspiration. This city is an architectural masterpiece with its multi-layered and complex structure, which has made it go viral on social media. In this city, the streets, bridges, and buildings are constructed in such a way that it feels like you are in a labyrinth. If you're not paying attention, you won't even realize what's happening around you. You have to look up, look down, check everywhere. It's really strange. So if you want to experience a cultural shock, I definitely recommend traveling to this bizarre city.